G'day guys, and welcome to episode number 8 of Geocaching for Beginners. Today I am placing a cache. As you can probably hear, so many birds around. I was going to do this live in the field, but no, I'll have to go back and do it by the comfort and quietness of my study. G'day guys, and welcome to episode number 8 of Geocaching for Beginners. Today we're talking about hiding your own geocache. So far you've found so many geocaches, you're ready to go out and you want to hide one yourself, and that is what we're going to discuss and talk about today. Before we get started, as always guys, don't forget, do that subscribe button, do the bell, make sure you get notifications every time I do a new video, either live or publish. One other thing I almost forgot as well, don't forget, watch carefully. Ooh, watch carefully. There's a trackable somewhere in this video, guys. Make sure you get that trackable as well. I'd like to start by sharing with you my own story of how I hid my very first geocache. I'd found about 50 geocaches in total, and I thought, you know what? Now is the time to hide my own. It was only a little nano magnetic, and I hid it literally outside the front of my little unit complex in an area that was close to me. I could keep an eye on it. It's like it becomes like a little baby, I really enjoyed reading all the logs after people finding that particular geocache, and it inspired me to make more. But not only did I want to make more, I wanted to make quality geocaches. So I did my own research. I looked at all the YouTube channels and seen what people actually liked. I also took the best advice possible, and that is, make sure if you want to be a good hider, you hide good quality caches that you enjoy, that you would like to go out and find. Let's start off with all the rules. There are several rules to consider. These can be found on geocaching.com. First rule, and most important, is the distance. You cannot hide another geocache within 161 meters or 528 feet of another physical geocache. So they've got to be different. They've got to be separated apart. They can't be too close. Second rule is you've got to be prepared to do some maintenance on this cache. If your cache gets wet and needs a new log, you've got to be prepared to go back out there, exchange that log. If the log gets full, if the cache goes missing, you and the one that's the requirement to go out and maintain your own geocache. Rule number 3, never bury a geocache. You're not allowed to actually physically bury a geocache in the ground. We say it's a treasure hunt. It's not a real treasure. They're actually above ground. Rule number 4, this is a global game. However, you are not allowed to hide a geocache in a location where, if you're on holidays, another state, another country, because you can't perform maintenance on it. You must hide it within a close proximity to your own home. Remember, geocaching was made for fun and enjoyment. It was not made for any other commercial representation. So you are not allowed to place a geocache for the purpose of advertising a business, a political agenda, or even any sort of charity event. We're up to rule number 6 already. And rule number 6 is we enjoy our environment, therefore we must take care of our own environment. That means no hammering nails or screwing screws into trees, or no damage to any other flora or fauna. Now, if you want to take the Hiders quiz, look at the description below. I've got the link to the GCHQ Hiders quiz that you can go through to make sure you tick all the boxes before you hide your very first cache. So as you saw in the video, I went out and hid a cache today. The most important thing about hiding a cache, apart from the rules, is you get the correct coordinates. So you've got to make sure people can actually find this thing. So as you can see, I use a dedicated app on my phone known as Cachely. Cachely, the best geocaching app out there, but it is for an advanced app. There are other apps around as well that can give you good GPS coordinates. They must show within I like personally a plus or minus 5 meter radius, because at that point in time you should be able to see the cache or find the cache, or better still, use a dedicated GPS device. But in saying that, I've been caching now for 6 years. Never owned one, never have, always used my iPhone and always used Cachely. The next important thing I find is you go back to the location another day. So you use the coordinates in which you've obtained and pretend you're going to find a cache, use the coordinates and see how close you actually get to your original coordinates. It's like a double check on yourself. Another rule out there is you're not allowed to place things on private property unless you have permission to do so. Also, check your local government rules and regulations in regards to state parks. So as a general rule of thumb, if you could find 100 caches before placing your first one, that is ideal. You get an idea of what geocaching is all about. You get an idea of what containers are good containers, good quality containers, ones that don't leak. Therefore, then you can place your own good quality containers and just replicate the ones you've already found. In my mind, there's three very important factors when finding a container and placing it. And that is, number one, the location. Why? Why are you taking people to that location? Is there a reason for it? Number two, make sure the container is a quality container for that location. For an example, if you are going to like a rainforest area, obviously that container needs to be almost airtight and watertight, as opposed to doing something in the desert where you might want to actually get some rocks and weight the thing down so it doesn't blow away. At the end of the day, you want people to really enjoy your cache. Now, me personally, this is my personal opinion, when it comes to the location, it's got to be a pretty good location, and there's a reason why you're taking them there. Now, if you can tie that in with the container type as well, at the same time as the geocache description page, which I'll show you right there, you've got the makings of a good quality cache hider.
I'm going to interrupt my babbling and show you how to submit a geocache online. So you go to geocaching.com, you go down to hide a geocache. Now this page here is very important. If you still don't unsure, there's different ways you can look. You can look at a video on it. There's the quiz right there as well. I'm going to go straight ahead and click a cache. Now I've already got caches ready to go. But I'm going to click a new one anyway. I know the area. I already know my hiding spot thanks to Cachely. You understand the details here, so you then click already know your hiding spot. Mine's a traditional cache today, and thanks to Cachely, I'm going to place those coordinates right in there, and then click confirm, and it will show you on a map roughly where it is. I then click continue and move along. Upon here, you see add parking, trailheads, and reference points. We won't worry about that. Geocache name for today. My cache is going to be named Casino Livestock Exchange. Yeah, that'll do, because that's the location, you see. Again, ties it in with the location. It's placed by me, and the date was today in Australia, New South Wales. Now, here is the description. Guys, in the description, please type out something decent in the description. However, do not spoil your cache. So you don't put in, you can put in there that what sort of container it is if you want people talking about the container. I personally put in everything about the location and the reason why you're taking someone to the location. Get them interested and keen to know why you're actually bringing them there, but do not spoil the actual cache in the description. Here in the hint. In the hint, it's only recommended. You don't have to have a hint. Most people do like a hint, though. This one here, base of a forked tree. This cache is going to be for everyone. I've clicked the terms and agreements because I've already read them several times in the past. We then click continue. Now, this is the size of the cache I'm placing. I've placed a small cache, and then after that, we scroll down and we can see difficulty and terrain. This is quite an easy hide, so it's only a D1.5, and terrain's going to be a 2 because you do have to get through a bit of a grass. Then you've got the attributes. Have a look at this very closely, guys, because attributes do count, and they're very positive attributes. Now, if you double-click those, they become a negative attribute, so make sure you do your attributes. After this is going to be your cache page looking. This is what it's going to look like on the website, so make sure you have a look and flick through that. You then want to post a reviewer note. This is where you send a reviewer who's reviewing your cache all about your cache. I personally like to tell them exactly what the container is made out of, and tell them this one here, they've even got a rubber seal, for goodness sake. What it contains in the cache, whereabouts it is, how can people find it, making sure that you're living close by. These are sort of things that the reviewers look at, especially for a new hider, to make sure that you've actually read the terms and conditions of hiding a geocache. If you can fulfill all these questions already in the reviewer's notes, your cache is going to be reviewed and published pretty quickly, rather than back and forward with a reviewer trying to teach you how to actually place a cache. So once you do a reviewer note, I like to then flick all the way through the cache page, making sure everything's correct, including the DT, the size, making sure that the description's correct as well. Obviously, I'm going to change mine and have a look at the hint, making sure that is correct. Look for spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes as well, guys. That reviewer note will be dismissed for everyone else. And then after that, you click Submit for Review.
If you've got any questions or even comments, by all means, write to me. I answer back to every single one of them. And don't forget, guys, give this little thing a thumbs up if you actually enjoyed this video and it was helpful for you. And in next week's video, we're going to talk about you wanting more out of your geocaching. What else can there be? You know what? There's lots more. There's books and there's podcasts and there's YouTube clips and everything. I'm going to show you all there is to research next week. So in the meantime, I've got to get this one published. Thanks for watching. This is Seemyshell. I'm over and out.